What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Fightful Smackdown podcast, May 2nd edition. We got Smackdown live as we head to the door or towards the road to WWE Backlash. I am joined by one Anna Bauert, host of Most Ridiculous. Anna, you got to watch Guardians of the Galaxy before America.
I don't understand how that's possible. We never get anything before you guys. But it's damn good, and I would suggest everyone see it if they want their lives to be better.
I'm hoping I get to check that out Friday. Shocker, I know. I'm going to go watch a good movie, guys. We are also joined by Jeff Hawkins. He is a podcast co-host. He is also award-winning. Hey, Jeff.
Hi. After you and Alex and that whole hog wild thing last night, Anna and I got together and we decided that we're going to be the comedy of this site, that you two should just kind of stop.
No, because I like people to laugh. I like people to laugh at our comedy. And that just wouldn't.
There's a difference though between laughing with and laughing at. So as long as you don't mind that difference.
No. There's not in this line of work.
You know what? That makes Sean the perfect comedian / host because he doesn't mind looking foolish. That's the best thing. That's great.
Hey, I got to follow the WWE formula. As long as they're making noise, I'm doing my job. I'm getting an echo from somebody. I think I know who it is. Her name starts with an A. Ends with a Nub Bauert.
Jeff, I asked you.
Let's talk about SmackDown. We kicked off the show with Jinder Mahal backstage. He was doing some really bad lines like, "This is my good side. Yes, get that picture. Come on." He delivers these lines very poorly, but Shane McMahon takes the WWE Championship away from him. How's Jinder Mahal growing on you, Jeff?
He's not, to be honest with you. I think he has a certain presence because he's so tall, but I was going to ask you, what's stiffer, his acting or his offense? Because it's a nice experiment, and we're still in the experimenting phase. So I haven't given up on this yet, but he didn't. I mean, he's doing things he's not used to. And you have to give some leeway on that. He hasn't been asked to carry a scene verbally. He's never been asked to carry a match offensively. He's usually been asked to be on the beating end of it. So I'm giving him a long leash here, but so far it's not doing a whole lot for me. He has a nice look when he's angry. I think that's the best thing I can say right now. And the fact that he has the Singh brothers as his lollipop guild. I mean, he just hovers over those two. My God, it's amazing how tall he looks now to me, and I never really noticed it way back when.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He is a big dude. We'll talk more about Jinder and the inside the ring stuff. Anna, as an actress, what do you think of Jinder Mahal's line delivery?
It's a little painful. Yeah.
We can leave it there because I like that. Shane welcomes Chris Jericho to the ring, who celebrates being on SmackDown. He gets an awesome ovation. I got to say, this crowd kicked ass all night.
He must have been surprised by that crowd. I mean, because they were louder than, he was actually taken aback at how vocal they were.
This is the type of crowd WWE wants every place they go. They cheered every baby face. They booed every heel. This was the perfect crowd for WWE. AJ Styles comes out, joins him, followed by Kevin Owens. But, this is to set up the United States title program. Anna, we got these three guys involved in the United States title scene. Meanwhile, you got Jinder Mahal, Randy Orton in the world title scene. Now, I'll say this for Jinder Mahal. Those YouTube ratings that I follow so closely, he's been doing really good numbers. I'm really interested to see how he does with Sami Zayn in a match. But right now, does the U.S. title, is that a more important program to you than the World Championship that they have going on SmackDown?
Well, it doesn't hurt me to watch it. So, I much enjoy it. And I have a feeling the whole YouTube ranking thing with Hardbody is people trying to figure out why he's in the position he's in.
What the hell is going on here?
Yeah. Look, I'm glad that they are doing something with a title on the show. I think it says a lot that they have put so much spotlight on this title, so they're aware of what they're doing. They're aware of how people are reacting. So why are you still doing it?
It's a smart use of hedging your bets, because you know that AJ and Kevin Owens are going to deliver on a program. You don't know if Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton will. So you keep that program kind of in the background, but the spotlight is on the one that you're sure of. It's very smart of them, I think.
Yeah,
sure, but then why not? They're hedging their bets by doing this.
Yeah.
Switch it.
There was even
and they
"you tapped out" chant for Kevin Owens. Man, you know you got a good crowd for you if they're doing the "you tapped out," like teasing him for that. That was phenomenal. We did get Jinder Mahal against Sami Zayn. Jinder Mahal won.
Well, before we leave the AJ Jericho thing, I did like that they remembered their history. I liked that they brought up the Y2 AJ tag team and that entire angle within that, and they just didn't brush it off like it was like it never happened, just because they've done a brand split since. I really appreciated that as a person who pays attention to a show.
They've done that a lot more recently. Like they've had a lot more consistency, and that I'm really good with. They showed the suspended Baron Corbin's like really good talking smack attack on Sami Zayn. I thought that Sami Zayn was the right kind of opponent for Jinder Mahal. There was a lot of offense from Mahal that I was seeing for the first time, because he's never really been in this position on a big program. Another bit of consistency is even JBL in between his wham, wham, wham that makes me want to change the channel doesn't make me want to boo Jinder Mahal. It just makes me want to turn off my TV. He portrayed Mahal beating Orton as a miracle. That is consistent with Jinder Mahal's booking over the last several years. He said it would be a miracle if he won. I also wouldn't mind like a narrative of, is he for real or is he just lucky? Is it just these guys? But I'll say this. People even outside of WWE who have worked with Jinder before have been putting over his work ethic to me.
Yeah.
Which has never, I don't think has been in question since he came back. Jeff, I'll ask you this. Every time a babyface goes after a manager on the apron, how do you feel?
It's as if they don't pay attention to their own product /sport/business. The stupid babyface syndrome drives me insane. But I want to comment on your comments. I did like JBL bringing in his own late career surge as a solo person into the Jinder story. I liked that. The only thing I'm missing here is, other than the obvious that we've put together, why do the Singh brothers give a crap about Jinder Mahal? That's what I want to know, because, I mean, and it could be as contrived as we want to see our countrymen succeed. I'll take that. But they haven't talked yet, and they haven't said anything, and they've been out there for 3 weeks. I want to know that. But, yeah, but going back to your question, Becky Lynch has a history of being the dumbest babyface on the roster when it comes to apron distractions and music distractions. I wish people would learn from their mistakes. That's all I ask.
Just some evolution. Now, the Mahal JBL thing, I don't like it when people bring that up, because Jinder Mahal's 30, first off. He's 30. JBL was like 36, 37. Also, JBL had been winning matches, at least somewhat consistently. Maybe even inconsistently, but he was winning matches. And
can I just applaud the effort?
Yeah, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But also, there was a definitive turning point where he abandoned his tag team partner. And we saw that.
There was more logical story. There was more of a build. You're absolutely correct on that. Yeah. I just liked that, as opposed to JBL just spouting out lines and stuff like that. He tried to humanize Jinder's ascent a bit. That was more my point than anything.
There was a tornado DDT botch. Jinder Mahal did not help where he was supposed to. That was a bad one. That could have been bad. That could have been real bad. The Singh brothers get involved. Mahal wins with the Cobra Clutch Slam. I'm okay with that as a finish. Consistent booking of Mahal so far. He has not won a fight, Anna, without the help of somebody else. And when he doesn't have the help of somebody else, even jumping somebody from behind, for all we know, he gets his ass kicked.
So he should.
Yeah.
Well, I have a theory about the Singh brothers. Actually, when he doesn't need them anymore, they just morph back into his deltoids. And so that's the whole connection there. It's like nothing against his work ethic. I'm entirely sure that that is the case, but it is exactly that. Why should we give a shit about this guy? He's come out of nowhere. And all of a sudden he has this paint by numbers gimmick, heel gimmick, that it just, there's no reason for me to get behind this dude. And it's frustrating. And part of me is concerned every time he throws an elbow, every time he does, because it does look so stiff. And after what happened to Finn, even in this match, I was like, I'm seriously concerned for this guy right now.
For me, this would have been the week to, for me, this would have been the week to give him just a straight squash to prove he can win on his own. And then when he gets to the higher level of competition, you build that story that he can't really do it without help, because this is going to be the problem, is that absolutely nobody can believe he can beat Randy Orton without distractions, or that he can beat anybody without distraction. At least have the little bit of tough guy credibility to go with the build and just the whole 6'4" big badass looking package, because he does look like a badass.
Guys, make sure you leave us a thumbs up on the YouTube video, as well as subscribe to us, iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, YouTube. Got that show with Jimmy Van coming tomorrow. Apparently, it's named The List and Your Boy. Don't know how I feel about that. But I think we're extending it to 90 minutes, either this week or next week. We got some big information to drop about the Fightful Podcast Network. So, Anna, I'm going to let you lead with this one. The Fashion Files.
Well, it was one of the greatest gifts to Earth that we have received in a long time. It was miraculous. It was a light in the darkest of times. If all records from this time period were lost and we became the Dark Ages again, this would be the one record that would be saved, because we want this to be the memento of our time. Did I build that up enough? I think Alex Belowski would be happy with that. They need to keep doing this stuff. And I feel like they are. I feel like this is the direction they're going in. Someone suggested on Twitter that they actually give them a show or an ongoing segment, either online or whatever. Anything at this point. They need to run with these guys. They need to. This is gold. It's stupid as hell, but it is gold. The end.
Jeff, I enjoyed this. It wasn't
Yeah.
It wasn't as much as it could have been, but it was a really short spurt, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they do it again next week.
It's a nice start, is what it is. It probably should have happened a lot earlier to help build them up. The only drawback I have right now is they're doing it in the build for a World Tag Team title match, as opposed to having given them characterization earlier. But this harkens back to, Fuji Vice and skits of that nature. Yeah, and I love that they used the Law and Order motif. I do. I hope they continue and I hope they heighten it. I hope the law half of it is Clarence Mason Jr. coming in for a cameo. That would be phenomenal to me. I did think the line that they had was, they're talking about the Usos. You say that's jaywalking and that's Jimmy walking.
So
Brilliant.
it seems like they're doing this in reverse.
Brilliant.
Normally stuff like this would get them over, and then you put them in the title match. But
yeah, exactly.
Better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not complaining at all.
Yeah. No, I'm not complaining about that. It's just the timing is. When you really want to be building them up as contenders for the tag team title, this would be the time to start giving them those quality wins, so to speak, as opposed to before, when you're building up their personality so that people get behind them.
To be fair, though, they have been doing this for a while online. So it isn't like it's out of the blue. But I do think that they should be getting matches at this point.
Backstage.
But everything about like the board on in the back with the connections to it and the different teams and the comments on it was
Vince's
great.
mugshot up at the top left. That was great.
Calling the Ascension smelly, I thought was pretty.
The Windy Apple, my kind of city. This is where they can realize their potential, because I'd found these guys funny on their own prior. And I mean, with that kind of gimmick, you're not going to get over as a serious.
I'm hoping for a good cop, bad cop sketch.
Oh,
I
God,
really
that'd
am.
be great. Phenomenal. I think they can take this pretty far. And even if they're not tag team champions, which they probably shouldn't be, they can be an entertaining act on this show. I'll be honest. I don't care if I ever see him wrestle again. I'm cool with this. But there's a great disservice done. Here's why I don't buy into the storyline, why I don't buy into the angle. Mickie James was on that show for months, and they didn't once write her damn ticket for the flappy pants. Come on, Playboy.
Maybe you're the one that's wrong. Maybe the flappy pants are good.
I doubt it. What about flappy pants? Get out of here. What are you talking about? Flappy pants.
Anna, do you have any flappy pants?
No.
Can you get some? Just to drive Sean Ross Sapp crazy on the podcast.
If you buy them for me, sure. But I'm not wasting my money on that.
Like, if you walk to the store, the wind resistance will take you like 5 minutes longer to get there.
No, it could also fly. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, have you ever played Super Mario Brothers 2 where like the Princess Peach floats? That's what Mickie James can do. We had Nakamura getting trashed by Dolph Ziggler. Nakamura was not there. It seems like they're promoting the hell out of him wrestling for the first time at Backlash. It's kind of cool. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The heels are trying to convince Becky that she should hate Charlotte. Then we move into a Tye Dillinger, Aiden English match. Aiden English sings. Tye Dillinger comes out and squashes him. Ty's got a ring presence that has translated to the main roster, in my opinion, Anna.
Yep. I have loved this guy for a very long time, and I'm so happy that he's coming across like this. The updated tiebreaker looked awesome. And I think, people were shitting on the fact that he was being put in with Aiden English, but I think they both did wonders for each other in this very short match. And Danny Burkholder made a comment about Aiden English on Twitter, saying that he's basically like the Drifter if he grew up with better parenting, which I thought was pretty apt.
More culture. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff, your thoughts?
I like that because AJ Styles uses the knee to the back of the head that they gave Ty a new finisher. I think that's very smart, and this one looks far more vicious and actually looks more like a finisher to me, to be honest with you. My note was that in that women's segment backstage that Tamina was the one with the lightest skin color out of everybody in there, which was amazing that they're all brown. Smack brown. That was my joke. But God. No, I liked the Aiden English freaking out thing. I'm wondering if they're going. I didn't necessarily care for the backstage segment afterwards, and we'll get into that in a moment. But I would love for Aiden English to freak out and become Phantom of the Smackdown.
Do you know what I'd like to see from him? I'd like to see Vicky Guerrero show up and reintroduce the newest member of the Wrestling Guerrero family. And I mean, book her daughter as his manager. Why not?
Sure.
And Aiden English comes out and he takes his wife's last name. Oh. Like just completely like kind of, take him down that road. Let him be Aiden English - Guerrero.
I actually liked seeing someone actually moved by the fact that they lost a wrestling match. That's a nice thing to see occasionally, even though it turned into a joke later. But
I'm cool with them.
Tye sold that so well as well, just looking back from the ramp, like, oh shit, did I do that?
Yeah. I'm cool with them emasculating him in that manner, and then the reason he starts winning matches is because he's so afraid of what his wife might do to him if he keeps losing. If there's the Guerrero legacy.
Yeah, there just has to be a payoff to it as opposed to making him look foolish.
I think there will be.
But yeah, if you have what was her name? Raquel Diaz was her FCW name or whatever.
Yeah.
Just have her come and be his boss. Like she wears the pants in the family, and they ain't flappy, my friends. They're real pants. I would love to see that. Aiden English - Guerrero. I'm going to push for that. The Welcoming Committee defeated Naomi and Charlotte. I said that the Welcoming Committee was a clever name until I heard it 15 times from the announcers. And that's probably not as many as they said it. They attacked Charlotte before the match. There was a cool little spot where Natalya slammed Naomi's face into the stairs. Charlotte came out and made the save. She hobbled. It was weird to see her work as a babyface. What in the hell is going on?
Something fell. It's okay. Let's move on.
Did Charlotte just do a run-in in your house?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
What?
The mean girl here, Welcoming Committee.
We got to know now. We got to know what fell.
It was a bag.
A bag.
Yes. It was very anticlimactic. Let's just leave it with
Like,
the
what's
Welcoming
in
Committee
the
trying
bag?
to break in.
What's in the bag?
Let's move on. It's a gym bag.
Well, it could be interesting. Anyway.
Yes, thank you.
I was rudely interrupted by the gym bag. Charlotte kind of came. Well, they had like kind of two hot tags. Charlotte running in, then Naomi got a hot tag. Jeff, I saw you mention on Twitter. It is kind of unique to see Charlotte getting like playing babyface in peril in situations like this. Because as you mentioned, she was getting hot tags in the PCB deal.
Right. They were doing the kind of, I mean, as far as I recall, and I might be wrong on this, Chris Zellner and I were talking about this. I remember in the PCB tag matches, she was kind of the Roman Reigns when the Shield first debuted. They were trying to keep her special, and she would make the saves and kind of do the hot tag, if I recall correctly. Seeing her getting beat up and having to sell, it's a whole new world on SmackDown where we're having Jinder Mahal do offense and we're having Charlotte selling as a weakling after getting beat up. The other thing I noticed, Carmella tonight, all night, corpsing, laughing because there was that one weak smack that Charlotte had kind of late in the beatdown, and Carmella just couldn't help smiling at it. She tried to play it off. And then later when she's doing the kick battle with Naomi, and Naomi starts doing the speedball kicks, and she's just kind of laughing at the same time. I'm just like, all right, Carmella's having fun. She's a national treasure. Yeah, I love her to death. I find that whole act great, and I enjoyed kind of this whole story throughout the show.
Speaking of Carmella, Anna, she picked up the win. I didn't see that one coming.
Look, I made some comment about she can't kick for shit, but she can pierce someone's eardrums. And I had a bunch of people commenting at me like, oh, she should go to NXT. She's so shit. I like what she's doing. I like the
she's
fact
improving.
that she is improving. But as she is currently in the position she is in with these girls, that is what she contributes is awesome.
Acceptable.
Yeah, it's awesome.
She is a perfect lower tier flaky heel who's not very good but is getting better. This is where she's supposed to be.
Hey, she ain't out there having WrestleMania title matches and dropping people on their heads. I mean, she was in a WrestleMania title match, but she ain't dropping people on their faces.
Right. Yeah. And the Ellsworth thing only helps.
So let's talk about this post-match. The Welcoming Committee, as we quickly learned was their name.
There's an alternative name that you wouldn't want. So Welcoming Committee is a safe one.
Yeah, sure. Naomi and Charlotte get beaten up. Becky Lynch comes out, and this was perfect with this crowd. Like, the crowd wanted Becky Lynch. They were begging for Becky Lynch. They were like, we want Becky. We want Becky. And they were booing when she shook each of these hands, and you know what's happening. But they didn't care. And, of course, she got to James Ellsworth because she's basically writing her own angle on Twitter, essentially. And she beats up James Ellsworth, and she fought valiantly, but she got beaten down. I didn't think the match was particularly great, but the angle worked for that crowd, and really that's all you can ask for.
I bought it for a second. I bought the heel turn for a second. I did, because eventually
just attack them. I only buy it when they attack.
Well, because she didn't run down for the save, and also she kind of took her time on the whole, staring thing. I bought it for a second because the end game of this is probably going to be Charlotte turning on Becky, and I think I think it'd be much more interesting to see Becky as a heel again because she only had that real short run in NXT when she turned on Bayley. But overall, no, I liked the way this went. I was expecting a Bexplex on Ellsworth as opposed to a battering ram. I really was.
Well, she had 4 people to fend off, so that's understandable. Yeah, I think Anna, Jeff's basically his prediction that Charlotte's going to turn, reveal her true colors, and it's like, damn it, Becky, you were stupid all along. Then naturally, that's a good way to get you right into that storyline. But what do you think?
Look, I'm just enjoying what this is for now. I was really concerned that they were going to turn her, given everything that's happened recently, until she got to Ellsworth, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
No. They're not mending that bridge anytime soon. Yeah,
that's what it was like. Okay, she didn't just leave it with Ellsworth. They have to.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's on. No, and as for the turn, I don't mean immediately. I mean after they've gone through this welcome committee feud, and then
I'm really looking forward to NBC coming together, and I'm petitioning for Tye Dillinger to be their 4th, and I don't know. I like the match tonight. I think Naomi looked great. I think she's gaining confidence since getting that title, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Did you call them NBC?
Yes, I call them NBC.
They could use it.
It makes sense.
Does that make
sense?
Team? No, I'm not. No, Jeff.
You keep wanting to go there, and I'm going to have to implore you not to.
Okay, I won't.
For the sake of our friendship, let's just not go there.
Okay,
I will say, though, this did take me back to high school, and I did really want to run in on behalf of Charlotte and Naomi and kick their asses. But that's just old memories coming back. Anyway.
James Ellsworth has not wrestled on a WWE live event since January 9th. So he is very much just a TV character. I do like the idea of bringing in Tye as the 4th, though, and maybe doing that mixed situation because
that would be
you
awesome.
tie them together, no pun intended. But yeah, I like that. Haha. Dolph Ziggler defeated Sin Cara. Sin Cara beat the shit out of Dolph Ziggler during this match. I mean, beat the brakes off the dude. Hit like 17 dives. He's wearing a full body suit now. I saw people speculating maybe it's not him, but I think it is. He's using the Rampage powerbomb where he picks him up out of the armbar as the Sin Cara does. I just think he's getting a little bit older, but he's still very versatile for his age.
He's a little bit heavier too. That's why I think people were speculating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably why he's wearing the bodysuit too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Dolph Ziggler's new gear, not all black, but Ziggler wins. Another great crowd. Jeff, got to give Ziggler these wins.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're building him up to lose. They're building him up to lose. This is a perfectly fine mid card build right here. I'm enjoying it, and I'm liking that they're keeping Nakamura off TV. I'm liking that they're just plugging his debut as something special. He had the one talking segment. We don't need him out there trying to talk and have 15-minute conversations. We're playing to his strength. So let's continue that.
Completely agree. Anna, thoughts?
Well, just back on the whole talking segment with the randos standing around, I really like to believe that he paid those people to be there. I really hope. And I kind of wanted them by ringside, and that's just his crowd that now follows him around, but we all know that he's paying them to be his friend.
He has rosebuds.
Yeah, pretty much. There was one point where Sin Cara tried to get the crowd going with the lucha fingers, and it just reminded me of Will Ferrell at the start of Blades of Glory in that suit, trying to get the crowd interacting, and no one gave a shit.
A couple people chanted, which is a couple people more.
But the first time he did it, it was dead silent.
Well, per usual. I mean, it's been that way.
But he also did it so like half-assed. It was just very Will Ferrell. I hope that I know that this is now Dolph's place, and we all know where this is going. But I kind of wish that they would just change up the gimmick. It's the whole "I deserve this, I'm being overlooked" story again. But it's like, well, no, that you don't though, because you lose every single time. And I know that's his place, especially for this. But I just wish that they give us something more relevant that we could actually get behind as an audience in a logical way, as opposed to you're just saying this because this is what this is.
It's a little too inside baseball to really help. That's the thing, is it's an office politics gimmick, and I don't care for those at all, to be honest with you. I just assume he'd be a flaky show off who decides he's going to do spectacular moves to impress the crowd, and the crowd just kind of turns on him for being more of a flake than winning matches. But
yeah, I mean, he's got this whole arrogance thing going, and with the paid friends, like, can't they just get behind that and leave behind the "I deserve this" kind of crap? Because we know you don't. You haven't won.
Very true. United States Championship. Kevin Owens defeats Chris Jericho to become United States Champion. Owens had his fingers taped up, really like that. They have the type of Owens-Jericho match you'd expect, and it's good. I don't think I liked it as much as the crowd did, but hey, I'd rather have an overexcited crowd than a dead crowd any day of the week. The only problem I had is, like, how many times can you do the, I can't believe he kicked out of my move that never pins anybody? Like, look, before, they're going to keep doing it. They wrote Chris Jericho off. He's got, like, the soonest he would have been available maybe was the end of the month. So he's gone. Jeff, I want to know, when do you think we see Chris Jericho again?
It is now May. I would expect July or possibly the build to SummerSlam.
Anna, your prediction?
I would have thought after SummerSlam. I mean, they pulverized his head. So
I'd be fine with that. I just think they're going to be in a hurry to rush him back on TV as a personality for some reason. I don't have faith that they'll keep him off, but I hope they do, because I thought this was a very effective beatdown, to the point where I think they actually busted his lip on the on the chair spot against the corner. I was like, oh, poor guy, he's going to have to sing with that thing. Let me put this to you guys real quick, because we kind of glossed over it, but I thought someone brought up a point that I gave a second thought to, and I'm not sure if I'm right on this actually being a good point. When they paid off the Jericho and Aiden English sketch, I had a follower kind of make a comment that it was in bad taste given what had happened with all the bullying and JBL talking about Byron crying and Aiden crying. Did that come off to you at all in the segment, or did you just view it as just character driven?
A little bit.
It's character driven, but I mean, I hadn't even thought about it until you mentioned it. But Anna?
It did come to mind. There were a few things that happened tonight that did come to mind, like JBL saying that, well, no one likes Sami Zayn anyway, which was a little too
obvious. Very obvious and blatant, some of the stuff. Yeah, and like, I mean, a couple weeks ago, he said, like, jealousy is a hell of a thing and stuff. Like, he's taken these shots repeatedly. And I'm like, son of a bitch, dude, can you, like, you escaped. And because of what happened with Mauro Ranallo, and because many assume that Mauro accepted a settlement, a lot of people, I saw people saying, well, what happened to people caring about the bullying? Well, I stopped caring as much about Mauro Ranallo being bullied, because if he took a settlement, if that was enough for him to let it go, then I'm not going to feel bad for the guy anymore, especially for how much.
I don't think that's fair.
I do, because for how much he pushes mental health and stigma-free and everything that he does, for him to say, hold on, for him to say, well, as long as you pay me, I'll shut the fuck up about it. I don't like that.
I don't think you can judge. You don't know what mental state he's in. The fact is, this guy missed out on calling WrestleMania. This is his dream job, and he missed out on that. He missed out on all these shows. Some shit was going down, and we don't know what that was, and we don't know how serious his situation is. So I don't think it's fair to turn around and say, screw this guy for taking the money, because we don't know the situation. We don't know exactly what happened. Screw the guy for taking the
money. I said I don't necessarily care as much about his situation if that's what happened. If he said, well, I'll take this money and then I'll make an official statement saying JBL didn't have anything to do with me leaving. So it's not only dismissing the situation, it's saying the situation wasn't why I left.
I get where you're coming from, but anything to do with mental health is a tricky situation, and it's not really something that, unless you're in it or know the situation.
NAMI fundraisers every year. I'm completely aware, but I mean, like, he took money to say JBL didn't do it, allegedly. But he came out with a statement and said JBL didn't have anything to do with this. Like, I'm
with you on that, but I'm not going to go as far as saying what you said, but that's just the difference.
I didn't say screw him. I said, I don't care about that particular situation as much anymore. Do I care about all the other stuff? The long history of JBL bullying people? Yeah, that's shit. And one of those was the Justin Roberts thing where he said nobody liked Justin Roberts anyway. Then he came out on this show and said, nobody likes Sami Zayn anyway. And a lot of you can say, oh, well, that's just a coincidence, and say, oh, you're being too sensitive about that. It's very obvious when he does it. He's not smooth about it at all. He's not. Jeff, where do you stand on all this?
I think both sides have good points, and I tend to not take one side or the other because I don't know anything. So
I know it's really one of those things where
it's really one of those things where, Sean, I started with your side, and then I thought about it for a few moments, and I heard other people argue Anna's side. And I go, that's a good point too, and I just kind of went right down the middle. And I said, I think both sides have a point here. I don't think either side. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, no matter what happened with Mauro, the issue still stands that this guy has not had any repercussions for what he's done. In fact, he probably got a raise with the whole talking smack thing, and that's absolute bullshit.
I completely agree.
Oddly enough, my co-host on
kill that echo wherever it's coming from. I'm getting an echo.
My co-host on Shake Them Ropes, Rob, speculated that it's possibly a punishment forcing him to do talking smack because he has to stay late as opposed to heading out towards the airport immediately or getting to leave the building. He has to stay around for another hour and a half to do another show.
Don't punish the rest of us then. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think JBL is the absolute wrong kind of sense of humor for talking smack, because while Daniel Bryan was kind of a cheeky kind of poking you with a stick type of sense of humor, JBL is really kind of throwing up roadblocks to you. Oh, that's stupid. That's terrible. That's, it's in improv parlance. It's basically saying no in a scene and forcing someone to come up with another idea.
The kind of guy you'd want to punch out in a bar.
Funny that.
But yeah, my opinion basically ends with, if you put a price tag on your pain, that's, I mean, car wrecks, things like that. But when you go to the trouble, like when you file like a civil suit, when somebody like T-bones you and they're blitz out of their mind, you don't go and say after they pay you, you don't say, well, they weren't the reason that I'm here. Mauro did that. He said, JBL didn't have anything to do with my exit. That's unfortunate.
Look at who he's facing. Look at the Empire. And it's not something as simple as physically, I was actually hit by this car.
The guy called a boxing match in front of 90,000 this weekend. The Empire that he's facing, he's a top name in MMA announcing, kickboxing announcing, boxing announcing.
Legal issues now, and it doesn't just become an in-house thing.
He wasn't in any danger.
It's a big fight.
He was in no danger.
No,
I mean, they're still paying him. They're still paying him. And I mean, nothing prevented him from talking about his WWE career prior to that if he signed a standard contract. Now, he doesn't. His contract might not be standard because he was allowed to do inside MMA and do all these other outside things. So maybe we'll find out, but maybe we won't, because if he signed a gag order, which they've had other people sign before, we reported on Fightful last year, they had Cody Rhodes initially sign one, and he couldn't. There's a lot he couldn't say and a lot he couldn't do initially. SmackDown, Anna, your overall thoughts. We didn't mention Renee Young being put on the list, but she is also on the list.
Via proxy, yeah.
What'd you think of the show overall?
I thought it was a good show. Ups and downs. I mean, any kind of ups and downs that there were, it was just because of ongoing storylines and stuff that we've been saying now since Jinder came into the picture, really. They're still dealing with that and they're still trying to figure it out. But it was enjoyable. And Breezango once again saved the world, so I can't complain about that.
I am so excited to see what they're going to do with them over the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff.
I liked it. I think the problem is we might be comparing to Raw, which is making far broader strokes in terms of their build for things. And these are very incremental steps for certain players. They still have their big program with AJ and Kevin, and that's going to be the dominant one. But they're taking baby steps with the tag team. They're taking baby steps with Jinder. We didn't even see Randy tonight.
But their roster was also pure. Is that the right word? Their roster was also, they've had to rebuild.
Yeah. I mean, so, and this is part of it, but yeah. But I think the women's division is coming up strong too, which is helping the parts that they're rebuilding. So I'm fine. I was fine with the show. I was entertained, and especially that fashion police thing is an all timer to me, and it has potential to be even better.
I rather enjoyed this show. I thought they accomplished quite a bit. They got a little bit done, and the crowd was a big part of this show, in my opinion. Like this crowd was phenomenal. When you got Becky Lynch, who hasn't been getting maybe the type of reaction that she would want, but the WWE would want, and they're out there chanting, "We want Becky." They know what's up. They know she's going to come out. I was rather fond of that. Anna, what can people see on this week's Most Ridiculous?
Was that you trying to do an Australian accent?
No. Hell no. You know I can do a better Australian accent than that. Oh, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy this week. It was great. Hugged up on that Drax poster. I sure did.
I hate it so much. This week's Most Ridiculous is I cast the Vince McMahon biopic. There's a love dedication to Breezango, which is a world first because it's a second love dedication to one group. Just a bunch of that fun stuff, pretty much. Ian McKellen.
I love that she Americanizes. She Americanized Breezango. Breezango.
I slip sometimes.
I've noticed that yours isn't as pronounced. Is that because you spent time in America?
Probably. I was brought up with American TV, and my mom has somewhat of an English accent. I also just kind of, no offense if people do speak like that, I just kind of cringe sometimes.
Hey, I mean, I still have a Southern accent, but it used to be real bad. Like I talk slow now, and it used to be even worse. So I mean, sometimes you gotta change it up. But I want to see you.
I find the term "mum" adorable. I do. It's great.
Mom.
I want to. No, see you.
No, don't change it. Don't you dare change that, Anna.
I want to see you go full bore with it eventually.
I have, but it's going to have to be. I did it in front of my friend's mom, but had to preface it with there's just a lot of swearing, like over the top.
She did for a bit on here once or twice. I remember doing it, and I told her never to do it again because it freaked me out. It's actually quite good. It's just still, it's like, that's not the person I know.
Somebody says I'm drunk on that Foster's beer.
Well
oh, played.
Drunk and probably got alcohol poisoning out as well because it's terrible.
How's the rest of the week look?
Boomerang.
How's the rest of the week look for Jeffrey Hawkins? Are y'all doing Shake Them Ropes this week? I saw that it may be delayed.
I'm doing it right after the show. Doing it right after the show. Rob had a family emergency, so we didn't get to do a payback after show. So we're gonna go over that with Celia Bloom, who was there live, and we're gonna go over. I watched for the first time. I had never seen Wrestling with Shadows, so I watched that documentary and the Owen Hart extra.
Yeah, I watched that,
and it was educational. There were some things I forgot about, like especially like the one moment on the Owen documentary where they're having the press conference, and Vince is getting questioned. He goes, "It was an accident. And the lady goes, "Well, why wasn't there a second harness?" And Vince just loses it. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I guess you're an expert on these types of rigs now. I said I was sorry. I said it was an accident. Yeah, I don't like your tone. Don't make this about you." And he just started to lose it. And you're just like, my God, this guy's a madman.
I got a guy, Dice Morgan, really asking me to approach this Netflix question. No, WWE will not put SmackDown or Raw on Netflix. They have their own network. There's not a chance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Celia Bloom, big fan of hers.
Say hi to my sister for me.
Yeah. Also, definitely whatever Rob's going through or went through this weekend, hope everything's better.
I think it is. I don't have an official word, but if we're doing a show tonight, it's probably better.
Now, I want everybody in this chat to give Jeff a bunch of shit for never watching Wrestling with Shadows, because I had some angry people over the fact that I had never watched Star Wars before. And I mean angry. Including a comment that said, and I quote, "You opinionated wrongfully by not watching this movie." And I was like,
This is so weird. There must be something in the water, because I have a Twitter follower I talk to a lot who's just watching Empire Strikes Back for the first time today. So it's like, what kind of closets were you all raised in?
It was just never my thing. Like, I guess I was never a big sci-fi guy. I haven't watched Game of Thrones yet either, and I want to, because I'm a big TV guy. I like to invest in something, but I don't like to invest 3 hours at a time.
Now you have to watch it to get all the references that Vince is going to hamstring into his product, because apparently he really likes it.
Yeah. Oh, probably. But eventually I'll check out Game of Thrones. But I'm not big on period pieces or fantasy stuff. But that being said, I like Walking Dead, so I'm a zombie fan. But Fargo's my shit these days, you guys.
You like the zombies. I noticed that. No, I'm not a big sci-fi guy either. And I loved the first 2 seasons of Fargo, but I'm waiting to binge watch number 3.
I got to say, Jeff, and I don't want to give any spoilers to anybody who has watched Fargo, but the end of season 2 kind of pissed me off. I was like,
really?
Ooh, I don't like that. The big
the character reveal,
one of the tie-ins, kind of the hotel thing and what happened.
Okay.
But there's something in season 3 that not only made me happy, but completely rectified that whole thing. And because it tied them together, I was like, okay, I'm completely good with it, to the point to where I want to watch season 2 over again. Also, I don't know if there's any show better at writing women characters than Fargo. They have been fantastic at that. Like, you don't get a lot of the stereotypes and a lot of the bullshit in that show that you do in some of the other shows. But I would highly suggest Fargo to everybody.
Other than Alexa Bliss, who's a well-written character right now.
Yeah. She is a very well-written character. Anna.
Yeah.
Y'all got any like kangaroo fighting reality shows out there that are hot on the streets?
I told you we do not fight our transportation. What is wrong with you?
We have demolition derbies out here. Why can't you hop on the back of a roo and?
Because we are more respectful. Thank you very much.
Because that's for koalas to do. You know that.
Exactly. They are much more vicious. Get your facts right.
Yeah. Koala chicken fighting on the backs of roos. Swinging eucalyptus trees.
Oh, no, backs of ostrich.
Well, guys, Fightful.com is qualified to bring you all the best in wrestling and MMA news, podcasting, videos, photos, and reviews. Shut up, guys. And, of course, videos like Anna Bauert's. We hope that you subscribe. We hope you thumbs up. We hope you like. Until next time, guys, Big Bang Theory is absolute trash, and we are out.